This is the Smiley Mini Duck 440 antenna. Now, this antenna did really well in my testing. If you'd like to see how well it did and all the tests that I did on it, please continue to watch this video. I would really appreciate it. Greetings. My name is Dave, and my name of my channel is Ham Radio GMRS Test and Review. So as you know, today I did testing on the Smiley Mini Duck 440 antenna. So here is all the specifications for it. It is a 440 only antenna, in other words, 70 centimeters. It's 1.5 inches long. It's covered in a flexible rubber and plastic coating. It has a BNC male connector. However, when you buy them from the Smiley website, you can order them with any connector that you want on the bottom. If you already have a Smiley connector that works on your radio, then you can take that off of the other antenna and put it on this one, and it'll work just fine. No other specifications for the antenna except that it has 3 dB gain, and the specified, and I paid $23 for it with the connector. So I believe it's $22 without the connector. And this antenna, just like most of the Smiley antennas, it's tuned at a specific frequency, plus or minus 5 megahertz. In this case, tuned at 440, plus or minus 5 megahertz. So it's supposed to be for 435 to 445. All right, so when I come back, we'll start with the tests and we'll get right into it. All right, be right back. If you like this video, please consider liking it and subscribing to my channel. I would really appreciate your consideration in that respect. And if you want to see more of my content, please click on the bell icon so you'll be notified as soon as I put out something new, which I do usually approximately twice a week. All right, thank you very much again for your consideration. I appreciate it. Normally, I would test this antenna on 440 megahertz, since that's what's specified by the manufacturer. However, I've got some interference issues going on here in my neighborhood on 440 megahertz. So I'm going to just go ahead and test it on 445, which is still within the range that they specified. So SWR on the antenna at 445 megahertz is 1.58. All right. I'm now going to test the antenna using the NanoVNA. When I first turn the NanoVNA on, it's going to default to the 2-meter band, so don't get excited. I'll be switching it over to the 440 here in just a second. And we're doing our testing today on 445. So up we go. And we are at 2.461. All right, I am testing the field strength of the Smiley Mini Duck 440 antenna. And I do the field strength test exactly the same way every time, with a 100% full battery on the transmitting radio, and at a same prescribed distance every single time. So here we are, field strength, and at the end of the video, I'll go over the field strength results with you. All right, I'm out at my favorite park, Fox Glen Park, to test this Smiley Mini Duck 440 antenna that I have here on my Btech UV Pro. So, as you know, I always come out here to the same place every time to test this antenna. It is approximately 2.6, 2.7 miles as the crow flies to my base station. And I do have some obstructions in the way. I have some trees and a house, a freeway overpass, a partial hill, and an outbuilding that just sort of kind of half blocks off everything. Making it difficult sometimes for antennas, especially the smaller antennas like the stubbies, to make it all the way out to the shack and for the shack to get back to it. So I do have my other UV Pro set up in audio relay mode, and I've got my other camera on it to watch it. So when I do this test, I'm not only going to report to you what the signal strength is coming back from the shack, but when I get back to the end of the video, you'll be able to also see at the same time what the signal strength is from this mini duck antenna to my shack. So now you'll get S-meter readings going both directions, all right? All right, so let's get started with this test. This is N8DAV testing the Smiley Mini Duck 440 stubby antenna and 445 megahertz today. And this is testing 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is N8DAV testing the Smiley Mini Duck 440 stubby antenna and 445 megahertz today. And this is testing 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, well, I consider that a good test. As you know, I rate these tests that if you have very little to no static and good modulation, I consider that an excellent test. If we have some static but still good modulation, I consider that a good test, and this is a good test. It's a fair test if there's a lot of static, but I can still understand what's going on. And it's a failing test if I can't get into the repeater, or if I can't hold open the repeater, or if there's so much static that I can't understand the modulation at all, then that's considered a failing test. All right, so this is considered a good test. It's always good for a stubby, and I'm going to do one more thing, and I'm going to go down to my stubby testing area, and we'll retest the antenna at that point. And by the way, I got 7 1/4 S-meter reading here out here in the field, and when you see this video, you'll also see the S-meter reading from this stubby antenna to my shack, okay? All right, be right back. If you look up behind me, you'll see that I'm down behind a hill and a big pile of rocks. You can just barely see the top of Mount Eldon, and at that base of that mountain is my house, so with the shack in there. So you know, you can't, that's another hill blocking, and sometimes we get good results, sometimes we don't get so good results. So let me test this one more time, and we'll see what the results are. This is N8DAV testing the Smiley Mini Duck 440 antenna in the stubby testing area behind the small hill. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. N8DAV testing the Smiley Mini Duck 440 antenna in the stubby testing area behind the small hill. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, well that, I would consider that a fair test, possibly over into a good test. The S-meter reading was between a 6.5 and 6 3/4, which is about what I expected, but you could hear all that static and everything. So you understand that, you know, this is a harder test for the antenna to make. All right, when I come back and you see me, I'll be back at the shack and we can go over all the test results and I'll give you my opinion, which never matters. And you can decide for yourself if this is the antenna right for you. Okay, be right back. All right, back at the shack. All right, so first of all, I forgot to show you the packaging originally. In the beginning of the video, I usually show you the packaging. So it is horizontal and there's also vertical. All right, so this is what the packaging looks like. They do good. This is a really good, nice plastic packaging. Well done. Smiley always does things the right way. All right, so what did we learn from all of this today? Well, I'll tell you. First of all, SWR testing on the Smiley Mini Duck 440. We had 1.58 on the power SWR meter, and on the NanoVNA was 2.46, which is, I've been seeing more and more difference between the NanoVNA and the power SWR meter of almost 1. However, 2.461, even with, especially with the NanoVNA, is still below 3, and I consider any HT antenna with below 3 SWR to be a good antenna. That's a good SWR for an HT antenna. They're very, very, well, I don't want to necessarily use the word compromised, but, they have lots of coils in them, especially the stubbies, just like this one. So, you can't really expect really great results in that respect. All right. So that's what we came up to. And by the way, I tested on 445 megahertz today instead of 446. 446 we were having some static, but these antennas from Smiley, to be fair, they're specified to only go up to 445 megahertz. Now 446 is not far enough away. It's going to really cause any differences or any problems, but I want to be fair when I do my testing, so I'm going to test at 445. Oh, I'm sorry. The static was not at 446. It was at 440, where they have the center of their frequency range. So I didn't want to test on 440 for that reason. So I tested on 445. It's one of my normal channels to test on. All right. In the field strength test at 445, the antenna had a plus 1.7 dBm in the field test, and that's very good. That's actually excellent. So I would expect the field testing to work out to be the same, and it was. It was a good test. It had some static in there, but the modulation was perfect. It was very loud, very clear, could understand everything. In the receive S-meter test out in the field, I got a 7.25, which is very good. It's not excellent, but it's good, especially for a stubby antenna. And then when I went back behind the hill, where I really pushed these stubby antennas, the field strength meter, the S meter, gave me a reading of 6.5 on the receive. But as you know now, I'm also recording the S meter reading on the radio, the UV Pro, that I'm using as a simplex repeater. So I record the S meter readings on that now. So you'll see those simultaneously. Well, you'll see it before you hear this, but you'll see that. In the shack, I got a 6.75 S meter reading. Again, the field was 7.25. And behind the hill, the field was again 6.5, and the shack was 5.75. All right, so I think those are pretty good numbers. Of course, I don't have anything yet to compare them to. This is the first time I've done this. So eventually we'll have enough numbers that we can compare them to. And I will be putting them in my spreadsheet, so I'll always have records of everything. And so the question is, and I always ask this, would I buy this antenna for myself? And the answer to that is yes. Anything that's good, I will always take, and I'll put it into my private stash. However, if you recall, some of the Smiley antennas in the GMRS gave me excellent results. So I'm wondering if I have some excellent results coming up here with the rest of the 440 antennas that I'll be testing. The other three I'll be testing are the 5/8 Slim Duck 440, the Slimline 440, and the Super Stick 440. All right, so look forward to those coming up in the future. And boy, it's a good antenna, but these other ones may be as good. They may be better. Who knows? Maybe you want to wait to find out before you buy one. Anyway, this is Dave. I'm with Ham Radio GMRS Test and Review. My call sign is N8DAV. The motto for my channel is one test is worth 1,000 expert opinions, saying 73 and so long.